Hello Pokemon trainers, welcome back to another episode of iStarly TV. It's been a while since I last uploaded, but I've been busy with school and things, but I'm finally finishing up, so I'll be done with school pretty soon. And so I wanted to get out a Pokemon Showdown live right now, just to have something to upload, something to provide, and I've been playing a little bit of RU on Showdown, so I wanted to maybe showcase a team that I made pretty recently. And with the new RU metagame, it looks like it's been doing pretty well. It's a kind of offensive team that tries to focus on getting a sweep with Barbaracle, and then it has a good offensive pivot in the form of Heliolisk with Life Orb, and then it has a Rapid Spinner in the form of Hitmonlee. I also have Sticky Web with Smeargle, which is pretty good support. It makes Hitmonlee a lot more threatening because Hitmonlee has a decent enough speed stat. It's base 90, I believe, or no, it's base 87. Something. It's a weird speed tier, but with Sticky Web up, it pretty much ensures that I outspeed almost everything in the tier. And then I have Assault Vest, Escavalier, which has been really good. It allows me to switch into most powerful special attacks, and then I have Alomomola to allow me to switch into powerful physical attacks. So let's just see how we do here. I'll try to get a couple battles. Hopefully I can get some good ones. Alright, so looking at my opponent's team, my opponent also has Smeargle, and they have sweepers in the form of Emboar and Kabutops. Again, I haven't been playing too much RU, so I don't know what sets are common for these Pokemon. This Emboar could be Scarfed. I know Emboar now gets Sucker Punch as of 6th gen, so it could very well have Sucker Punch, and that would be pretty threatening. I think I want to lead with my Smeargle, although it's pretty likely that my opponent just leads with their own Smeargle, so that makes me tempted to go into Hitmonlee first. I don't have anything that wants to be Sleep Fodder, so I'm just going to lead with my own Smeargle, and if they lead with their Smeargle, I'm actually going to try to just win the speed tie, because it will be a speed tie between both of our Smeargles. They actually lead with Magneton though, which is pretty interesting. That means I can go for the Spore here. I don't mind if they switch into their Tangrowth to take the Spore, which they actually do not do. So that does allow me, let's see, they do have a Rapid Spinner in the form of Kabutops, but I still just want to get at my Sticky Web just to get it up. And now they're going to go into their Smeargle. I'm going to actually taunt here, hoping to win the speed tie. If I don't, that's fine. And I do get off the taunt, which is awesome. And now I'm just going to get off my Stealth Rocks. Actually, I think I should predict a Kabutops switch here, so they can get up the Rapid Spin. Yeah, I'm going to predict the Kabutops switch and go into Heliolisk, and no matter what they switch into, because I'm pretty confident they are going to switch, no matter what they switch into, excuse me, Heliolisk is a good switch for me. They go into Emboar. Again, I know that Emboar gets Sucker Punch now. I'm actually just going to go for the Surf anyway, and they just go into Magneton, so that's pretty good for me because it means I'm going to get a pretty good amount of damage on this Magneton. And now I could go for the Surf again, but it's also possible that they just go into Jellicent, so I'm just going to go for the Volt Switch just to scout what they're going to want to do. They actually do go into Jellicent, so that's great for me, because I'll get off a pretty solid chunk of damage, and I'll be able to get initiative to get in whatever I want. And actually, okay, they're going to forfeit there. That was a good battle. I think I was playing pretty well. Yeah. And let me know what you think of my Showdown name right now, my, what's it called, my alt name. I thought of it myself. I laughed at it when I made it. It's a personal joke for myself. But we're going to try to get another battle. Most people who play Pokemon avidly will probably know what it's referencing. It's referencing a Pokemon, but it's really funny. Alright, so this team looks pretty cool. They have Doublade. They have a lot of really unconventional Pokemon that you don't really see too often in RU. And then they have Tangrowth and Gligar, who are, you know, pretty much solid RU staples. The Pokemon that they do have that are not RU frequenters, though, are pretty good. So I don't want to underestimate this. I think I'll probably lead with Smeargle anyway. They do have Gligar, which is probably their defog user. I don't think I lose anything for leading with Smeargle. If they lead with their Pavilion, though, I'm going to expect it to be Focus Sash with Sleep Powder, which would be kind of unfortunate for me, but they do lead with Pangoro. I'm gonna go for the Spore here again. Just like the last battle, if they lead or if they switch into their Tangrowth, that's perfectly fine with me. They actually exactly do that. That's fine. I'm pretty sure they're just gonna try to get off some damage on me. So I'm gonna actually get up my rocks just to threaten their switch-in potential for Rapidash and Vivillon. And even though I know that Gligar very likely has the Defog, I'm still just going to do that. Now I'm going to go for the Sticky Web, kind of foddering off my Smeargle, playing pretty aggressively. And I just want to basically predict so that I can get something in against the Gligar, because if I don't, then it's going to get off a Defog for free. So I want to play smart, basically. Let's see if I can do that. So I have two Pokemon with knockoff. Let's see. Probably just going to go into this Cavalier just to threaten the switch. Gligar is a pretty obvious switch in here. I don't want to predict incorrectly though. I could go for the knockoff. Knockoff's a pretty good play regardless, but if they go into Gligar then they do get off the Defog. But I do knock off their Eviolite, so that's good for me. I'm actually just going to go into Heliolisk here, predicting Gligar. They make a pretty good play there. Very bad play on my part. And they get the knockoff off, so yeah, so they got 2 crits. They just wrote, man, the crits are real, because I think they've gotten 2 crits on me now, but what can you do? I realize now that Volt Switch was probably a pretty bad play, because they're probably just going to go for the knockoff again. I'm fine with them knocking off Hitmonlee's item though. Okay, they just go for the Giga Drain. Yeah, so I'm actually playing pretty badly here. I'm a little rusty. Just gonna go for the knockoff myself, and I knock off their Assault Vest, so that's pretty good. Tangrowth with Assault Vest sounds like a pretty good option. But I don't really have anything. I pretty much have to sacrifice my Escavalier's item here by going into Escavalier, going for the Mega Horn, and they do go for the knockoff, knocking off my Assault Vest. But Escavalier is just really powerful anyway. If they go into Gligar here, I might just go into Barbaracle and try to get greedy and get a sweep going. They are going to go for the Defog here. I think there's no reason for me not to just go into Barbaracle. I know it's kind of greedy, it is kind of early in the match to be trying for a sweep, but Barbaracle has really good defense, so even if they try to like Earthquake me or something, or Toxic, that's fine, you know, I'll still get up a setup for free. I do have the White Herb, which means after I get off a Shell Smash, my defense drops will be restored. So they're going to get off a Toxic, that's fine, because it means I don't take too much immediate damage this turn. Let me just plug in my computer to the charger. And I did get off the Shell Smash, which means Razor Shell will be doing a heck of a lot of damage to them. And I have enough coverage to kind of, okay, yeah, that's just going to be clean one-hit KO. At this point, I should be able to threaten just about everything they have left. Again, if their Vivian has if their Vivian has a Focus Sash, then that's actually going to be really problematic for me. But it's not looking like it does. They're going to go into Doublade. It's likely they have Eviolite here, but I have no reason to not just go for Earthquake. It's pretty much all I can do at this point, and unfortunately I do not kill. They're going to get off a Sacred Sword. It does mean that I am going to be able to kill with this Earthquake here. So I'm going to go for Razor Shell just in case. Yeah, they just have Shadow Sneak. Alright, well, let's see. Lomomola's a good switch. I haven't completely lost this match just yet. I mean, I killed their most defensive Pokemon, which is really good for me. I feel like Alomomola can actually wall a good portion of the remainder of their team, so I'm going to want to get in my Heliolisk on their Vivillon, and Vivillon can't really switch into anything just because it doesn't have a great bulk. So I'm just going to go for the Scald. I take no damage from the Sacred Sword. I'm going to be able to kill them here on this turn. I have no reason to just not go for Scald. I don't want this Cavalier to take extra damage, and Heliolisk cannot switch into a Sacred Sword anyway. So I think that's a good play on their part, just kind of sacking their Doublade. It means they get the initiative here, and they are going to go into Vivillon. That's exactly what I thought they would do. It's likely they just go for the Quiver Dance here, trying to get greedy, but they do just go for Sleep Powder, that's fine. That actually, unfortunately, means they get the Sleep Powder on my Alomomola, and they get to go for the Quiver Dance, but we're just going to go into this Cavalier. It's almost at full health. This Cavalier is very bulky, so it's likely it could take a hit pretty well. and then dish out a lot of damage with Iron Head. And I just have to hope to one-hit KO this thing. Again, Vivillion's defenses are not very good at all, and his Cavalier's attack is very, very high, so there is some chance that I could one-shot it with the Iron Head. I'm not too confident, though, that I can, especially because my one tank is asleep now, so even if I do kill this thing, they're gonna still have a couple pretty powerful Pokemon left. And they're just gonna Quiver Dance again. I don't know if I agree with that. Yeah, that's okay. They do have. No, they don't have Sash, do they? It didn't say their Sash activated. I think I just, unfortunately, just didn't one-hit KO, and they're gonna kill me with Hurricane. They do not have Life Orb. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, Heliolisk dies to just any move. Probably Bug Buzz. I'm pretty sure Alomomola also just dies because it has very poor special defense. I'm just a purely physical Alomomola, so it's likely that I just lose, which is fine. I do acknowledge that I made a few misplays, probably pretty early. I think playing around that Tangrowth, I probably should have done things a little bit differently. I probably should have predicted a little more aggressively, but it is what it is, yeah, so... Yeah, that's going to be a good game. Pretty decent match. Despite the fact that I got swept by a Vivillon, they still only had 3 Pokemon left, and I think had I maybe played around that, maybe had the Sleep Powder missed or something, things could have been very different there, but I think that was still a pretty good match, and I'm going to try to get one more in, just because the first opponent quit. Alright, this looks like a very bulky and very annoying team. It actually looks like a pretty balanced team. Cinccino and Excelgor are pretty fast offensive Pokemon, and then they have Carbink and Dusclops, which are extremely defensive Pokemon, and then they have these two, which are kind of bulky, but also pretty good, you know, balanced Pokemon. They're kind of bulky offense. Toxicroak's pretty solid. It does not look like they have a Rapid Spinner, but they do have Excelgor, who has a fast Taunt, so I think I'm going to lead with this Cavalier here, predicting them to lead with their Excelgor and just go for the Iron Head just to get a good amount of damage, but they actually lead with Dusclops. Okay, so that's pretty unfortunate because it's likely that they're just going to have Will-O-Wisp. So I think what that means is I'm just going to go into Smeargle here to hope to take the hopeful Will-O-Wisp, and then just go for the Spore after that, and then try to set up my hazards. So they could make a good prediction here and pull a switch into Excelgor, but I don't think it's too obvious that I'm going to Smeargle, and they actually missed the Will-O-Wisp, which is pretty good for me. And I'm going to get off the Spore, which means again that I can start setting up all of my hazards, and because they have no Rapid Spinner or no Defogger, that's actually very good for me. So now they're going to go into Toxicroak. I'm actually going to predict them to start setting up or going for the substitute, so I'm going to taunt them, and I have Faster, which is really good. They do go for Drain Punch, that's perfectly fine. I could have my Smeargle die here, and as long as I get at my hazards, that's what's going to matter. Unfortunately, I do not have a Psychic type coverage move on this team, so I actually don't have that great of coverage. I think Escavalier is a good switch here. It does have Drill Run to hit Toxicroak for super effective damage, and I should be able to take just about any hit pretty well just because I am pretty bulky. They do go for Earthquake, and I missed the Drill Run, which is very unfortunate. And their Taunt wears off, which means if they wanted to, they could start setting up with a Bulk Up or, I don't know, Swords Dance or something, but they're going to go into Dusclops. I'm going to get off a Drill Run, and this is actually really good for me because I can go for the knockoff now. They might have Sleep Talk, I hope they don't. Okay, they wake up this very turn, and they're going to get the burn off my Escavalier. That's really unfortunate. They're probably going to go for the Paint Split right here, so I'm just going to stay in and spam knockoff. I do actually finish them off with that knockoff, so that's really good for me. I'm almost in Swarm range, which will boost my attack stat, or will boost the power of my Bug-type moves. They're going to go into Excelgor, though. Maybe they're going to set up Spikes. I don't exactly know what this thing does. Usually when you see Excelgor, it's more of a lead variant, because it's extremely fast and it can get up Spikes. You don't usually see them as kind of offensive Pokemon, even though they can be. And they're going to miss the Focus Blast. That's pretty unfortunate for them. I'm actually going to be able to kill with a Mega Horn, and now I am in Swarm range, and unfortunately my opponent's actually just going to quit right then. Yeah. So, sorry that 2 of my battles were incomplete, and my other battle was a loss on my part. Probably not the best Showdown Live ever, but I definitely wanted to get some content. And in looking at the RU metagame, I really like it. They did ban Kyurem and I think they banned Azel and Kyurem, which is pretty good. That means that the metagame is not going to be as extremely powerful as it could have been. Kyurem was really good. I was actually using it on a lot of my teams before it got banned, and I guess I'm glad it got banned. I can see why they banned it. The team I'm using now looks pretty good though, and it's been working out for me. I know Toxicroak is a pretty good threat in RU, and just being able to kind of acknowledge the right set for it and the right set to use on your team is probably very valuable, especially because it's a really versatile Pokemon. It can go offensive sweeper, it can go bulky sweeper, it can even go specially offensive with Nasty Plot, so there's a bunch of different ways you can go with Toxicroak. And Poison is a lot better now that Fairy exists, so I don't know which fairies are going to be dominant in RU, but, you know, Fairy is just such a good type that I can see Aromatisse, maybe even like Wigglytuff, who knows, being pretty good Pokemon now. But anyways, thank you for watching. I will try to load as frequently as I can. But yeah, until next time, hope you enjoyed this battle.